I've heard you talk before about people who use oxygen tanks as rationing their life away. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so very sad situation. I want to preface though that this is almost never the patient's fault. Okay, it's how they were led when they were diagnosed with oxygen therapy or prescribed oxygen therapy. All right, and I'm gonna have I do a whole other video on that. We're gonna talk about like the complexities of insurance and what happens when you're at the hospital and things that why people end up with tanks because they what I mean just take a look at this. Would you rather, if you're on oxygen, have this, or would you rather have this? Pretty obvious stuff. Like I mean, and we haven't even gotten into the logistics of why this is so much more convenient than this bad boy right here. All right, and I mean bad boy as in the bad. It's actually a bad boy. So, rationing your life away. So this is what we've noticed when somebody gets prescribed oxygen and they're on tanks. Their outside of the home life slowly just diminishes. And the reason why that is because a couple of reasons. First of all, lugging these tanks around is not fun. It's way more strenuous and demanding than just walking around like you were used to previously. Number two, you got to constantly refill these tanks. Just like you refill your grill's propane tank, now you're doing it for your oxygen. And this is what takes you outside of the home, right? That's why it's called portable oxygen. So what happens is the priorities slowly get honed in the very beginning. Like, okay, I have to go to church, I have to go to the grocery store, and I have to go to doctor's offices. And then if you have grandchildren, the ultimate priority, right? But it becomes so strenuous, as I've mentioned, and so annoying to deal with that you slowly just, your priorities get smaller. You're not able to just walk out the door like you used to. I don't know about you, but I know me. I don't like being a burden. If I was on oxygen and I couldn't lug these over, I wasn't strong enough, or I didn't have enough of these, or I wasn't able to drive anymore, I know I wouldn't be calling other people all the time to basically help me because I don't want to be a burden on them. And I see that all the time. Sometimes you have to go to Austin to get tanks from these national providers. So typically you could only get 10 tanks a month to begin with. So you got to sit there, and if your liter flow is 2, and I know I'm getting technical here, but if your liter flow is 2 and you only get 10, you got like 40 hours or something like that a month outside of your home to do things. That's crazy, all right? And then just trying to go and get these all the time, your life slowly gets rationed off over and over because you just don't want to deal with it. And you know what I'm talking about. How many times have you heard our clients say, I feel like a prisoner in my home?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by basically you slowly just ration your life away because dealing with these become a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so if someone's stuck with those, like if somebody's already using those, is there, I mean, you mentioned the other option, like how do you switch from tanks to another
Yeah.
option?
So you always have an option, right? And that's another video, so listen to the video on insurance, billing oxygen to insurance, okay, and the complexities there. We all love those. But basically, many times, like if you're a commercial insurance and you're being provided tanks instead of portable oxygen concentrators, you should be able to easily just switch over to a portable oxygen concentrator. And so this is what I always say. If you currently have tanks and you're being supplied oxygen right now by a supplier, I would call them up and say, hey, I want a portable oxygen concentrator instead of these tanks. Because they can bill this instead of this. Insurance has that worked. The only one you can't is Medicaid, right? It's Medicaid, right?
Medicaid.
Medicaid won't let you do it for some reason. It's crazy. But any other insurance that we've ever talked to, you can either bill this or you can bill this. And like I said, that other video is going to go into a little bit more in depth, but at the end of the day, way more cost effective to bill these as opposed to these. And so, if you are currently on tanks and you want a portable oxygen concentrator, which I don't know why you wouldn't, first ask, be the squeaky wheel, you might get what you ask for. All right? Sometimes they won't though, and they say, this is our policy, we only bill these. Give us a call, give us a chance, all right? Fill out the form below, we're gonna figure out where you stand with your insurance. That's the first thing we need. We just need to know what your options are. But like I said, we have put a lot of thought into this situation because it's really, really, as you know, Sonia, how annoying it is when somebody calls and they really want to switch over because they feel like they're a prisoner in their home, and Medicare, they're in a contract and they can't get these right now. So we came up with a system where if for some reason we can't bill your insurance, we have a very, very lucrative, the most lucrative offer that I've seen online, which is about $2.29 a day in order to rent these until we can bill your insurance. Long answer to a simple question.